We'll continue now with another 4 great companies. First to present is Mr. Shalom Nachshon from Catalyst AgTech. Please, Shalom.
Okay. Good afternoon. So indeed, I'm Shalom Nachshon, a co-founder and the CEO of Catalyst AgTech, offering a solution to make harmful pesticide environmentally friendly. Before Catalyst AgTech, I founded and conducted in high-tech companies. It became to be a public company only 5 years after foundation, being today the world leader in its arena, very successful and profitable. And I'm eager and confident to do it again together with my team with Catalyst AgTech. The ongoing demand for more food also means that more and more pesticides or agrochemicals need to be applied. Agrochemicals are great, they are doing the job. However, they are persistent and they find their way to our precious groundwater. And this is why the regulator limits the pesticides utilization. This is a serious conflict to solve, and solving it means potentially billions of dollars. Let's take atrazine as an interesting example. Atrazine serves us faithfully and efficiently for more than 50 years. However, some researchers claim that atrazine is the most detectable pesticide in groundwater, and we don't like it at all. There is a very strong lobby to keep atrazine alive in the US after it has been in Europe, and there is a strong lobby to ban atrazine in the US as well. Hopefully, with Catalyst AgTech technology, we can keep benefit from atrazine without contaminating groundwater. A little bit about the technology and how it works. By adding a suitable and matched catalyst to a pesticide, we create a self-destruct mechanism that breaks the problematic molecules only after migrating from the effective zone to the deeper subsurface. I'm not sure if a match and a forest fire is the best way to explain how catalyst works, but I'm sure you get the idea how a tiny element triggers or accelerates a huge reaction. And this is exactly what's happening with our catalyst and pesticides. So we said matchmakers, but unlike the traditional matchmaker, we don't really wish the new pair to live happily ever after, pretty much the other way around. From this line and up, everything behaves just the same. However, looking farther down to the left, the pesticide meet and contaminate groundwater, while with Catalyst AgTech technology to the right, the problematic molecule is broken and Mother Nature easily and safely takes care of the remaining harmless pieces. The chart in the middle, one out of many lab experiments, shows exactly the same thing. This curve is actually a pesticide together with the matched catalyst that disappeared completely after 150 hours, while the horizontal lines are exactly the same pesticides exposed to exactly the same environmental conditions, however, without the catalyst, and it stays vivid for a long, long time, more than we want it to. We already successfully identified several such pairs. Scale up from lab batches to field test is our main development effort, which is challenging, however, very nicely progressing. The technology itself has been developed at Weizmann Institute of Science. The patent is at national phase, already granted in Australia and the US, and being examined these days in Europe, Israel, China, India, Brazil, and other countries. Both existing agrochemicals as well as new ones still in the pipelines are targeted to implement our technology. It is a huge market, it's growing all the time, and top 10 agrochemical companies are controlling about 90% of the market. Our strategy is to join forces with those leading agrochemical companies and to benefit from revenue sharing, sub-licensing the technology, and funded co-development. Without disclosing too much confidential information, I may say that we are already communicating with several of those leading agrochemical companies, and the reactions so far are extremely encouraging. We have a great team, experience with business and management side, the scientific side, and field and agricultural side. We are raising $1.2 million, or maybe 1.2 million minus 5,000 if we shall win the Agrivest prize, if you shall click the right number. But so this is what we are raising in order to accelerate time to market. Actually, we mastered the technology, but we need more resources in order to process more pairs in parallel. And this expected fund will also support patent filing, which is essential, however costly, as well as pursuing the communication already started with the agrochemical companies. So to summarize, we are solving this conflict, and we make essential, however harmful pesticide environmentally friendly. We have an excellent team that knows how to make it happen. The market is huge, and the potential business is very promising. And we are raising $1.2 million to expedite time to market. Thank you very much.
My name is Arik Koenig, and I'm representing Danzinger Innovations Company. And I will take those 5 minutes to tell you about our plant breeding technology for precise gene modifications. So Danzinger Innovations is established 5 years ago as a spin-off company from the Danzinger Danflower Farm, which celebrates this year the 60th year anniversary. And in a collaboration with the Faculty of Agriculture at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. And together we are developing this breakthrough memogene technology, which I'll explain in a few minutes. So we heard about the global challenges that the agriculture is facing. And we recognize the need to develop new technologies to make better plants, better with a high yield, adaptation to marginal lands, as you see, and tolerant to harsh environment conditions. So the current breeding methods has their limits, and we wanted to suggest a new breeding method. This is actually a virus-based tissue culture independent technology for the precise plant genomic modification that can be applied to virtually any plant. Now, this is the technology in a glance. First, you have to select the target DNA to be modified. The modification can be either deletion, insertion, or substitution. Then we have to design what we call biological DNA scissors. It's rare cutting endonucleases, enzymes that cut the DNA in your specific target. Then we introduce those scissors to memogene viral vectors that we develop, deliver it to the target plant, and that finally we get this product in. With this example, it's a purple tomato, but it can be virtually any trait that you choose to target. We have two main consumer applications. One is the deletion or mutagenesis, and the other is insertion or substitution. Both of our applications have predictable results and have reduced cost and time compared to the current breeding methods. But the deletion technology is also undergone a full proof of concept in our company, and is also considered to give a non-GMO product. The other application is very important and also give a very good products, but they are considered GMO because we insert foreign DNA, and it's still under R&D in our company. So our three key advantages of this technology is the site specificity, the implant application. There is no need to use complicated tissue culture methods, and also we have a very wide range of plant applicability. It can be virtually applied to any plant. Now I'll give you two short examples of our proof of concept of deletion technology. We used those enzymes, zinc finger nucleases and meganucleases, in model plants like Arabidopsis, Petunia, tobacco, and also plants with high economic value like potato and tomato. The two examples that I will show are visual examples, but we have also many others that are just DNA sequences. So the first example is the activation of this functional gene. We prepared the plants with a gene that is not activated. It has what we call the stop codon. Then we delivered our MemoGene system with the right nucleus. It deleted the stop codon, and we get, in the next generation, we get plants with activated gene and that gives us a blue color. The second example is of the opposite way. This is a Nicotiana alata. It's an ornamental tobacco with very lovely purple flowers. Now, we targeted a gene in the biosynthetic pathway that gives this nice flower color and deleted a segment of the DNA, which gives us this result. On the right, you see the normal flower, and this white, just white stripes is the phenotype that we get after the deletion. So the IP regulatory status of the company, we have 2 patent applications for the MemoGene technology granted in Israel and South Africa. And last August, the Israeli Minister of Agriculture determined that the plants undergone mutagenesis using MemoGene technology, the deletion technology, shall not be categorized as transgenic plants or a non-GMO. Our business strategy is to seek collaborations with leading agrobiotech companies for implementation of the MemoGene breeding programs or in mutual R&D programs, and also we are seeking external investment for further R&D and product development. This is the contact person, Advocate Yael Matar, also the CEO of our company, Danzinger, is here in the audience, and also we have this website that you can look at, see further information, and I thank you for your attention.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Rubin. I'm the VP Business Development of MiRobot, which, as you see, is developing a robotic milking parlor. Now, I don't know how many of you have lately been in a milking parlor, but just in case you haven't been, this is how a milking parlor looks today. And these milking parlors can be anywhere from 12 to over 100 stalls, and usually handle dairy farms of anything from 200-300 cows up to 3,000 cows, usually. What is the problem? And the problem, I can only say, was introduced by Ofra Strauss when she mentioned that people don't want to be farmers today. Let me tell you, even less they want to be milkers. They maybe want to be farmers, but certainly don't want to be milkers. There are pre- and post-milking routines in everyone which prepare the cow before and after the milking. These usually have anywhere from 2 to 6 workers, and these have to be qualified workers. They work 365 days a week, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. And believe me, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning in the winter to milk cows is no fun. And while everyone is talking about food, and everyone till now has been talking about food, we are talking about the labor cost, which is usually between 15 and 25% of the total cost of a dairy farm, which is the second largest expense item. Now, all over the world, basically manufacturing has gone to robots. You see this in the car industry, what used to be, and this is how it looks today. You see this in field crops. Once it used to be completely manual, today it's all automatic. And yet, when you look at a modern dairy farm, you see this is how it looks with the people inside. What has happened to that? There's been absolutely no change in that for the past 50 years. And this is where our niche, where we go. What is our invention? Our proposal is a robot per stall, which does all the pre- and post-milking activities. There'll be only 1 operator required instead of 2 to 6 operators. It is both for new and existing stalls, so it can be also retrofitted to existing equipment. The operator will have a small tablet, which will be used as a control unit, that if there are any problems, he can do it. He can control them through the tablet. It is very small. It is very flexible. It has a very low end-user price in order to justify, and usually the payback is less than 3 years. All this will bring a significant decrease in labor cost, which will bring much bigger profitability to the farmer. When we designed the robot, we had basically 3 design principles. One, that it has to be economic, so it would be worthwhile to invest, and the farmer does not have to throw out all the investment he's done so far. The maintenance has to be very easy, and it has to withstand the difficult environment of a dairy farm. And last but not least, it has to be low cost, and therefore there is a person there to answer all kinds of extreme problems. Here you can see how our prototype looks. This is how our prototype looks. And you can see there are 5 what we call fingers. There's one large finger, which is the imaging system, and then there are 4 small fingers, which basically each one of them attaches a cup to a teat. Here you see it better underneath our plastic cow, where you can see how it's going to look. It is inserted through the hind legs of the cow, and basically it will go up and attach to the teeth of the cow, and does everything what the person does. The benefits are, first of all, as we said, it reduces labor costs. It also reduces the reliance on workers, which are very difficult to find, as was mentioned earlier. It increases the throughput, since now you have activities being done in parallel and they don't go serially, so you can, with the same equipment, you can handle more cows. It makes the milking much more consistent, which is a big problem in milking. And last but not least, it makes the job much, much easier so that the good workers can be retained and can continue working. The market is huge. Here you have some numbers, but basically there's a huge market because we are handling the large dairy farms, all of them, which all over the world. The small ones are disappearing slowly, and the big ones are getting bigger. The market is, we estimated, over $6 billion, and this is just for the Western world where salaries are relatively high. There are milking robots today, which you can see photographs of 2 of them. And they are completely different because they are geared to handle, each one of these can handle usually 60 to 70 cows. You can put 2 of them together, you get 120 cows. You can put 3 of them together, you get 180 cows. Anything over 200 cows, usually this is not a good solution because it's very expensive, first of all. And secondly, the logistics of moving the large number of cows makes it impossible. We are talking about from 200 cows upwards, so this is basically for a completely different market. And this, in our market, there is absolutely no competition today. Where are we? As I mentioned, we are just finishing now our prototype, and we should have it completed by the end of the first quarter 2014. And then we want to go into alpha manufacturing, which will be one complete or almost complete dairy farm here in Israel, which will be still supervised by our engineers. And following that, there will be a beta. We are still at least 3 years away from a marketable product. Basically, we need $4 million for the next stage. The 2 partners in the venture today, aside of Trendlines, which have invested in us in the technological incubator, we have Tal Bareket, who's the CEO and has a very multidisciplinary background, and myself, which I come from more of a business background. Basically, to summarize what we have here a system which really introduces a new era in automated milking. This is a complete revolution. It will significantly cut the cost, and people we've talked to in the industry say this is the most significant thing that has happened to the milking industry in the past 50 years. Once it works, and we hope it will. Thank you very much for your attention.
And I wonder how many of you are aware to the fact that in Western Europe only, every year 180 million day-old male chicks are being culled just due to the fact that they're being hatched to the wrong sex. They are males in the layer industry, which they cannot be used as layers. And today there is no current technology which can detect the gender or the sex of the embryo within the egg in a non-invasive manner. On the other hand, and this of course brings huge ethical, environmental, and even just recently economical problems due to the fact that in Germany one of the federal states has passed a law which bans from culling those day-old chicks. And nobody can really evaluate right now what will be the economic application for such a law. And it's just a matter of time till the rest of Western Europe will follow this regulation. And even a bigger problem in whole of the poultry industry is the fertility issue. Up to 20% of all eggs put in the incubator are actually non-fertile. And again, there is no way today or technology today which can detect which of the eggs are fertile and which of the eggs are non-fertile before the incubation. It's very easy, by the way, to detect whether the egg is fertile after a week of incubation. You just put it against the light and you can just see a small embryo. But on day 0, what we call before incubation, there is no non-invasive way to detect it. So the solution that we are offering through EggDetect is a fertility detection of the egg just before incubation, what we call E0. And the other one is a gender or sexing detection of the embryo during incubation, just before or just a week before hatching. And this will, of course, allow the industry to take care of those male embryos without getting to the point that they are hatched and you have to kill them on day 0. Now, what we are doing actually is we are developing a system and software that, we are developing a system which software and hardware for first of all, detection of the fertilized or non-fertilized eggs on E0, day 0. And the second one is detection of the gender or sexing of the embryos before hatching. And I keep on emphasizing both in a non-invasive manner. And this is very important because there are some technology which are not commercially yet who can, in an invasive manner, detect whether an embryo is a female or a male. But then they have to go inside the egg, take a sample, and this technology is still not commercially being used. It cannot be a real-time technology. It's costly and cannot be practically in use in the hatchery. Now, our current status of the company is that we have an IP protected and, of course, an in-house know-how, and some other IP further patents are under application underway. And on one of the missions that we are talking about, and this is a gender selection detection, we successfully achieved what we call the color sexing in the challenge, in the milestone that we put to ourselves in accuracy higher than 95%. And this is in some of genetic breeds, because not all genetic breeds are alike. And we are now in a very, I would say, advanced point where we are working very hard on the detection of fertility in the most common genetic breed, which counts for about 80% of the total poultry market. Now, one thing that I want to emphasize about the poultry industry around the world is among the food-producing animals, poultry is the fastest growing industry around the world. This counts both for developed country, developing country, emerging economies, even in the third world countries. Now, what is our business model? Our business model is purely B2B, as we want to integrate our what we call EDU, EggDetect unit, into an existing equipment being used in hatcheries and poultry houses and being produced by a company that already produces this equipment. This will give us, of course, the advantages of quick penetration to the global market, using existing after-sale services, and avoiding from massive investment in both equipment and marketing stuff. I want to show you how this business model is going to work. Actually, this is an existing what we call candling machine. In hatcheries today, you can, as I said, you can detect whether an egg is fertile or not fertile by just putting it under light a week after incubation. We want to take the same equipment that is being used today in the hatchery and put our EggDetect unit inside. So it's not, we are not going to really change or produce a brand new machine, but we are going to use an existing one by a B2B. So we want to get and we want to raise money for deliverable as the alpha unit for fertility and sexing, and we want to raise up $3.5 million. Thank you for your attention.